Well, hello, I'm Jeremy Taylor, the Brit on the radio, and your luggoles. I have to say I am positively forswunk after my tea and lie down this afternoon. But we're here for the Wednesday Undressed programme. And Wednesday Night Undressed is all about looking at the story behind the story. It's opinion from intelligent people, some not intelligent people.
That's me.
And me. And the idea is to give you guys listening, and very thankful we are that you do listen, something that you can talk about tomorrow on a particular subject. Let me introduce tonight our amusing application of elusive alliterations, the indefatigable, somewhat indomitable, and always irrefutable Kathleen Taylor.
Yeah, you better not refute.
Yeah. A man thought lost to legend and recently resurrected, Jason Springer now.
JT, what's good?
That marvel of female bohemian sophistication, Jane Carter.
Hello.
Lynn is with us flown in specially from China or Hawaii or Hong Kong or probably Lenexa. Shawnee, there you are, you see. I knew it was a foreign place, right? Chris Majorkirth is with us.
Yay.
Good morning, Chris. How are you? And, of course, the Transylvanian Dark Lord of Literature and Pheromones and sporting icon of all over Europe, Ivo Ivanov. The most interesting man in the world's smarter younger brother, Dr. Orlando.
What's up, people?
Will be participating.
I want
now,
more of that.
We are broadcasting this. Shut up, your face. We are broadcasting this podcast from central. Where are we? Kansas. In Kansas, and particularly from a well-known bar and hostelry. Where you can get anything that your heart desires.
Did you
known
just
as
say hostelry?
Yeah, yes, he did. Conroy's.
Yeah.
It's upstairs, dear. The ladies are always nice and not very expensive. And so, yes.
Is there like a password to get up there? Because I've never heard about this.
Yes, and you have to go through that door over there. Anyway, what did I want to talk about? Yes, so here we are in Lawrence, Kansas, broadcasting tonight at one of the many Conroys. They're all over the country if you know where to look. And what's been getting me down is chicken eateries, right? There are at least 17 different chicken eateries in Lawrence. By now, when I wrote this, there were 17. Maybe there's 18 tonight. You know, they just breed like ferrets. And I'm wondering...
Like not rabbits?
I'm not really sure.
Yesterday was the black-footed ferret is endangered.
I thought I'd have you on forswunk, but no one knew what it means. So anyway, I'm interested to know... When I was brung up, the only chicken place you could go and get was Kentucky Fried. You knew where you stood with Kentucky Fried. There was Kentucky Fried Chicken and chips.
Extra crispy all the way.
No, there was Kentucky Fried Chicken.
How dare you have a thought?
We did not have extra crispy. In fact, I didn't come across extra crispy until I came to America.
He came from a deprived place.
Very seriously deprived.
I'm absolutely serious. The manager of the Kentucky Fried Chicken in Lawrence, when I was introduced to him, and he said, "What do you want? Traditional, extra crispy, or maybe there was another one." I said,
"Extra crispy."
I said, "What do you mean extra crispy?" And he said, "Well, it's extra crispy." I said, "Well, what's extra crispy?" And his words were, "You've never had extra crispy?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Then you should have some." And he gave me an extra crispy wing.
I find it hard to believe that the manager of KFC said, then you shall have some.
Yeah,
he really...
I'm not...
Kath was there.
Good sir.
I'm not really buying this story either.
Then you shall
But
have
his
some.
accent was even more English then.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, really.
And so...
Probably why.
That makes that story even more awesome, Jeremy.
But there are a number of different... chicken eateries around the place, and I'm just interested in what people think about their favourite chicken eatery. Let's start with Jason Springer now.
Well, you do bring up a good point. There are a lot of them, and there are definitely more than we need. We do have a lot of options as far as the different types of restaurants and establishments. But yeah, you really don't need a whole lot. The one thing that I do miss, well, now let me back up. You see more and more places opening up, and they serve just wings or they serve chicken strips. They actually don't serve pieces of chicken, like a breast, a leg, a wing, what have
I
you.
can't say that.
Okay.
He said
They don't serve pectorals.
boobies.
They don't serve pectorals.
We're not allowed to say breast.
And there you go. And so I don't see that much anymore.
Thigh.
Because you
Can't say
said
thigh.
KFC.
Calm down, Jane.
My jam was Church's. Church's chicken was fantastic. I still love Church's chicken. I wish we had a Church's chicken in Lawrence. That's the one chicken
Church's
place
is good.
that I actually wish we had.
I've never
But-
eaten there in my life.
Oh, it seems good.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's quality. But the number of eateries we have now is just ridiculous. And like you, I don't really understand why this explosion just even happened.
Well, you talked about the bizarre urban myth, right?
which bizarre
About
urban
Lawrence?
That we're made of chickens?
No, you know I don't know if it's true or
Are they
not.
experimenting on us with chicken?
Kind of.
That's what happens to all the flunked out students.
So I've heard for a long time this story that like 2 or 3 decades ago, Lawrence City Hall signed a contract with KFC. And according to that contract, no other fast food chicken restaurant was going to open in Lawrence. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the only reason. There was only KFC for decades and decades in Lawrence. And once they closed or the contract expired, there was a sudden explosion of like, there's what now, 20 freaking chicken restaurants?
17.
Seriously?
17, yeah.
There's more chicken in Lawrence than in the French army. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
That
It's
speaks,
freaking
that
wild.
speaks a true European.
But no,
It's going to be that kind of show.
yeah, but no, seriously, you've never heard this, Neil?
This actually kind of does make sense, actually, because you bring up a good point. Because when KFC was open, there really was no other chicken, and there was never even talk of, in the papers like, oh, we might be getting this type of restaurant or this type of restaurant. There was nothing.
They had like what I've heard is that they had like a 25-year contract, and once the contract expired, KFC really went down when other places started opening up.
That's so ridiculous.
But, yeah.
25 years?
Yeah,
I
something
can
like
see
that.
What would the city get out of that? I mean, they get extra tax revenue from them, or
Something, yeah.
Somebody
they
was getting
contributed
kickback
something,
somehow.
some kind of kickback.
So could we get a recommendation for our listeners who are within a sort of 50-mile radii of
I'm with
here?
you. I still prefer KFC, quite honestly.
Anybody want to fight that? Lynn, you came all the way from China to try KFC, I know.
Oh, well. It's okay.
Go for it, girl.
I don't really. It's fine. It's not like it's kind of a thing. He always wants burger or fry.
He being the man you live with.
Chris, her husband.
I'm married to for 50 years. I'm married. So,
Yeah, don't keep saying. I know that's the second time you've had to say that tonight.
right.
Yeah.
But I don't. I like soup, stir fry thing. I don't really particular. I like different kind of chicken, but that's fine.
If I do actually have to break down and go to those wings or strips areas, then honestly, Raising Cane's is pretty good.
Raising
Yeah,
Cane.
that's the only one.
It's
Like
okay.
I don't need to go to Popeyes. I don't need to go to Slim Chickens. No.
It's funny how everybody has their place.
Yep,
Because, I like Popeye's spicy chicken,
agreed.
their chicken strips, but not like the chicken breast or, the chicken pectorals
Yes.
or whatever.
Wobbly bits.
The chick.
The wobbly bits. But recently,
You can say that.
I really like Zaxby's. It's pretty good.
Zaxby's.
For like their chicken sandwich, but Slim Chickens. I've recently
Slim
tried
chickens,
that, and
yeah.
it's actually really good.
So
I
has
disagree. Fake news.
Has anyone boycotted Chick-fil-A because of the
Yeah.
political issue?
Honestly, I don't.
We call it. We
I
call it.
boycott it because it's bad.
Do you have a
Special about it?
special
Yeah.
title
I mean,
for
it's
it?
pretty run of
We
the
call
mill.
it hate chicken.
Yep.
Okay,
Hate
yeah.
chicken.
Chick-fil-A is called hate chicken in our household.
All right.
do the listeners know what the political issue was? Because at this point, I've forgotten what the problem was.
Oh, it is a long time ago,
Yeah.
and it was that the owners did something to announce a position against gay marriage or something along
Oh,
those
that's
Right.
right.
He was,
And
yeah, they
gave,
denounced gay marriage.
gave
Yep, that's
money
right.
to.
Yeah, and
They do
I
not like
don't.
black gay people.
Yeah.
That's basically.
I don't
the thing.
spend money in
And so,
places.
Lewis, what do you think?
As the black gay, no, that's not me.
You're very happy.
Hey, watch that hand.
You've got such a
didn't-
nice knee.
Yeah, well, of course, yes,
You're
yes.
very naughty. You are.
Nah, gay
But
people
we
are
like
smart.
you. We do like you. Yes.
Gay people don't care for
Yes.
chicken; they want the beef.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
You do?
No, it's
Yes.
another word I'm trying to think of it. That
Yes,
we
but
use.
we won't go there. Thank you.
As far as like where I go,
Concentrate now.
yeah, I'm trying. I don't like Zaxby's a whole lot. I don't like Slim Chickens a whole lot. I like KFC. I like Raising Cane's, but I feel like that's a novelty right now. I'm not sure that my love affair with Raising Cane's will last. But I gotta say, KFC. You know what? I'm not a huge fan of Popeyes either. If there was a Church's in town, though, I'd be there
Boom.
every
Yeah.
damn
Don't you guys
Yeah.
think that
Definitely.
You
KFC
and me
has
both.
changed? Their recipes changed
I'm not sure if
over the
it's
years.
changed or they
the
just
magic
gone
ingredients.
down. If it's like become greased.
Because I loved it. I mean, when I was a kid, it was the staple, the
But
chicken
wait.
place. And
Nobody-
now it's more
Finger
than one.
licking good.
Nobody has mentioned Long John Silver's. Anyone?
I
Oh God! Don't go
fucking
there.
love Long John
What's up?
Silver.
What's
no.
up with
When I'm
freaking
hungover.
Zaxby's? What the hell is Zaxby's? Like,
It's a southern like
Like
chain.
out of Atlanta or
But
see,
I don't like it.
Is there a
I've
Colonel
never-
I don't like it either. It's,
I don't know.
There should
and
be.
somebody
It's
needs
too
to get.
expensive. It is horrible for you. If you ever look at their menu and their calorie count for their food,
Yeah.
it's worse than McDonald's. I mean, it is just awful.
Unless
But-
they
but-
become a sponsor, in which case Zaxby's is
Zaxby's
fantastic.
is great.
Agreed.
I've eaten-
And you
I've
know
eaten-
what? You should get married at Zaxby's. That place needs some vowels. How can you have a name with so many letters in just one vowel? Man, it's ridiculous.
Well, sometimes.
Oh, I
why?
reached really deep.
Sometimes why?
I went to Long John Silver's.
got it.
I was late back from somewhere, and I thought, fish and chips. I just fancy. I'm English. I just fancy fish. So I went there.
You chose poorly.
And I ate the fish and chips because I was hungry, and then I threw
I was
up.
hungry.
It's really bad news. Don't go there. But I find Kentucky Fried. What is it about Kentucky? They have a certain something you can turn up in.
They do.
You can
They
turn up.
do. And,
No, they actually
you
have
bring up a
chickens
good
with
point.
meat on them.
Yeah.
They do
And
a
it's
good
crispy.
job of
Yeah.
getting a lot of meat on what they're giving you.
And I'm not much of a Popeyes fan, but you bring up a good point because
Popeyes.
I can't tell you why. If I'm in an airport and there's a Popeyes, it's going to be damn good. And I can't, if you just go to Popeyes just here on the street, but for some reason, Popeyes in airports are just.
Speaking of, in
Yeah.
Dallas Airport over the traveling weekend during the holiday, there was one section that we were waiting in that only had
Matt
two
Lauer,
restaurants, and one of them was Hate Chicken. And guess what? It was fucking closed. It was Sunday.
See, if you're a smart businessman, you open a restaurant at an airport and serve pork and call it air pork.
That is brilliant. That's
The
brilliant.
airport restaurant.
Wah, wah.
So we've come to the conclusion that probably in our town, where there are 17, maybe now 18 chicken restaurants,
Whoop, there's another one.
KFC, there's another one. KFC is probably the best one. Chris, do you want to join in? What do you think on your travels across the universe?
Churches, yeah. Hot Tops if I can find one, but KFC is probably, yeah. I mean, that's a good go-to. I mean,
Right.
like I said before, they're extra crispy. That's always been my go-to for a long time. If it's, if I'm hungry for good fried chicken.
There's no doubt, is there, that if you go to KFC and you get I don't know, mashed potato and corn and a couple of pieces of chicken, it does a reasonably good job. It does exactly what it says it's going to do.
Then they've done a good job moving away from their gimmicks because there was a time when they were getting very gimmicky. Like they had the double down. There was two pieces of chicken that acted as bread, and then in the middle was cheese and bacon,
And
which
the
just
bowl.
I missed
and the-
that.
Yeah, you missed that.
The bowl thing with
double-
and the
mashed
bowl-
potatoes,
yeah,
chicken,
yeah.
And they
corn, and
breaded
gravy.
it with spices so that
But the
they
double
didn't
down
have
was
any-
just a heart
Yeah, I
attack
never
waiting to
tried
happen.
those.
bread.
That's just too much for me.
No,
I would see
it's
people
full of
bacon?
eating that and I think, oh my God, they're
and,
going to
you
die.
could get it wrapped in bacon. Yeah.
Wrapped in bacon?
Yeah.
In bacon?
So
Wrapped
I
in
quit-
bacon?
I quit eating meat when I was 20, so I have never, and I came here when I was 25, so I have never ever had chicken in the United States. I don't know. I've never
But you've
tried
choked the
any of
chicken.
this. Yeah, of course.
So you can have batter.
I've had the mashed
doing it right
potatoes
now.
and the corn at KFC. You know, that's pretty
yeah.
good.
But you
Yeah.
could try batter, so you get the taste because the chicken's chicken.
Okay, so you suggest that I go to KFC and ask for some batter?
What, like, hey, can I have a bucket
Can
of
I have
batter?
a bucket
Tear
of
the
batter?
batter.
Fry some okra or something?
Yeah, Brennan.
I know it has been lambasted by several of you here. My favorite will always be Chick-fil-A. I am a proud gay man and will never stop going to Chick-fil-A. Their
Really?
chicken is too good, and the thing I like, they are the one place that actually offers grilled chicken in a good variety. And that's one of the big things for me is I don't always want fried chicken.
Why? So go back to the panel.
Thank you, sir.
Why?
Also,
why? Oh,
if
there's
you're willing,
also.
if you're willing to go, if you're willing
more.
to encounter on
It's
travels,
exciting, isn't it?
Bojangles. Bojangles.
Oh, Bojangles.
Oh,
All right.
yes.
Well, now we're Father Christmas.
Yes.
So I was so excited listening, I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm just waiting for Old Chicago to open up again.
Is it going to
happen?
Oh no, they've already got it. Like
likes his
they've already
chicken.
started the construction.
Oh, good deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you
So
like?
Springer and I would go to Old Chicago, and we would get the chicken wings, and we would eat ourselves silly, and then we would go see whatever Marvel movie happened to be playing at the time. That was like tradition.
I can't believe
Yeah,
Old
back in the
Chicago's
day.
not in Lawrence
the
still.
days
No,
of
but it's
Chicago.
like I said, it's coming because they're gonna. It's actually right out by Walmart. That's when they've already broken ground. Yep.
All right.
That'll be
so,
about 22
so what have
by
we
then.
found out? That what we've got to do certainly in Lawrence, if we want to go and indulge, is probably KFC, and then if we can find a Church's in Kansas City, Topeka.
Overland Park for sure.
We used to go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, I didn't even consider Buffalo Wild Wings. I changed my vote. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Wings do not classify as chicken. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And in Buffalo Wild Wings, they're naked. As
What
they
about
are in-
Hooters?
Well,
No.
Is it
Conroy's.
people say they go because of the wings, right?
Well, they're talking
yes,
about the
yes.
Well,
pectoral.
they've got
If
good
there were
boneless wings.
If there were a Hooters in this town, I would never go just because I know I would see former students working. And that would be creepy as hell.
If you
Yeah,
do
that-
go,
No.
though,
For them,
Well, you-
yes.
Well,
go on
actually,
Mother's
that's a good
Day.
question.
If you go
You'd
to
have to
Hooters
go
on
sit in the
Mother's
car
Day,
for 10
it is
minutes, wouldn't you?
amazing.
No way.
Well, knowing you, probably
I'm
7.
serious.
There you go.
Seriously,
Thanks, bud.
Is that
People
Nobody
just-
takes their
would
moms
you
to
think
Hooters on
that's-
Mother's Day.
Would you think that's more creepy for you or for them? I'm being legitimately
I really
curious.
don't know. I can just tell you that for me, I'm going to guess for them, they're going to probably be used to it because, I mean, everyone is going to
Right.
be, all the customers will be looking at them, Google logo over them, and I get that. But for me, to see my former students in that's just creepy. And
So
it's-
if one of your
yeah.
former students came up to you,
Thank you.
right there, in your face, would you just say,
With a-
"Oh, very nice. Now, may I have a Coke?"
No, what he actually says,
Oh my God, Mr. Springer! What can I get for you?
why are you looking at my wobbly bits? No. Lovely. Let's move on.
Can I have some pectoral, please?
Awkward. Okay, this is me. So yes, I'm pissed off at having to deal with people in the USA and outside of the USA who don't speak English and thus don't understand my needs, be it socially, or perhaps in a restaurant or in a bank. I don't think I'm a bigot, but if I went to live in Russia, I would expect to have to speak Russian to get by. So let's talk about the language of America. And while I'm at it, my brother once said about the language of England, I had mentioned something about
Queen's
Pakistan, Jamaican, Indian languages. And he pointed out, for he is a wise person, don't worry, the kids go to English schools where they speak English. And it is against the law in the UK to teach in any other language but English. So they speak English to survive. So the kids' actual parents have to speak English, and the grandparents will all be dead soon.
Comforting fellow, your brother.
So Kathleen,
Just to point out, when you say in this country and elsewhere, you're talking about people who answer the helplines to you in the middle of the night.
It pisses me off when I go to McDonald's and I say, hello, I'd like a burger and some fries. And they go, eh?
Oh, I see. But how about, I mean, you can say this, but at the same time, we had a governor of California that, that I don't think he was just as incomprehensible as the guy at McDonald's.
No, you'd say to the helicopters every now and then and things like
The
that.
choppers.
Get to the chopper.
What about, I mean, really, in Lawrence, besides me, who else do you know that doesn't really speak English in this town?
Well, there's Eric.
No. I mean, it's a hypothetical.
It's a hypothetical. I found the interview with the president had with the Navajo code talkers the other day, really
Cringe-making.
Shameful.
cringeworthy. And then when you realise that they had deliberately plonked these guys in front of a picture of Andrew Jackson, and to say that, I imagine the president hadn't got the faintest idea.
He doesn't know who Andrew Jackson is.
Yeah, right.
No.
But there were people in the White House who would have known. And those gentlemen there, the Navajos, the dignity of those three men putting up with this stuff, I just thought was, really amazing.
Well, they tried, to be fair, they tried to take his scalp, but he was already gone, and so they ended up with some kind of animal.
Did you notice his scalp kept trying to escape?
Yeah.
And it'd come back.
You know what? This
was like a tribble.
Yeah, this was almost as insensitive as my comment here, but it was ridiculous. And speaking of English language, wouldn't you expect the president maybe to learn the English language? I have dish rags that have bigger vocabulary than that piece of crap. This guy does not know. He operates on 300 words, and he's the president of the United States. So what kind of example
No.
is
He does
setting?
not know 300 words.
Yeah, well,
You're exaggerating
Yeah.
again,
You
Evo.
remember GW? You remember when the debates happened and we were just like, holy shit, this guy cannot talk. How can you be the president of the United States?
exactly what we
Pales
said.
in comparison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pales in comparison.
Yep.
He's like,
Holy hell.
I mean, GW is Umberto Eco compared to
Wow, there's a reference.
Chris, what do you think?
I think it's probably a function of people who've come to this country and have probably gotten a job and are still learning the language. So I usually, as long as they get my order right, I just kind of deal with it. I mean, I've been to like McDonald's where it's either been someone of Asian origin or Hispanic origin who doesn't speak well. I can barely understand exactly what they're saying, but I know what they're saying because I know they're saying, "How can I help you?" So I give them my order. And they've got these helpful little screens that they plug it in, and it displays it to me, and it says exactly back to me what I ordered. And as long as it's good, I say thank you and go and pay for what I got. And if I didn't understand what they said, then I politely ask.
Well, sitting around the table with mixed with our engineers and the team, there are 4 genuine non-Americans. Who were born in different countries. 3 of whom didn't speak English as Brennan, shut up.
Can you do that again?
Yeah, Brennan, shut up.
My man.
The three of us didn't speak English as our first language. And where I was going originally, I think, with this question was, should kids be taught a different language, say English, maybe say Spanish, for example, where it's as important as math, or does it just not matter?
No, I think learning a language is important as part of your education.
Absolutely, and living in Thailand for a year and a half, I had to speak Thai, and I know people in our country today who have difficulty with English, which, by the way, is the most difficult language to learn. Period. I mean, because we have things like there, and there. Mm-hmm. It sounds the same, but it means 3 different things depending upon how you spell it.
It can be confusing.
It can be extremely difficult to learn. And, when I was living in Thailand and I was speaking Thai, I kind of know firsthand the toughness and the experience of having to try and communicate your thought. In your mind what you want to say, but it's going to be broken, and it's going to be cheapy. And it's nice when people, they know where you're coming from, and they can kind of just take a step back and they can be patient with you. And so I kind of know the other side of the coin. However, something that Kath mentioned a moment ago, I really have no problem if, like Chris was talking about, if someone who is working in this country or at a bank or a McDonald's or something like that, they're struggling a little bit. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But the thing that I cannot stand is if I call a company for help and I can't understand a goddamn word they're saying. They're speaking English, but I have no idea. I can't understand their accent. I can't understand
And it's worse because they're on a script.
And they're on a
and they
script.
are
And they're on
just
the phone.
reading it
Yep.
like this.
And they're on the phone.
Just
you're not-
all of that. I'm sorry. It's made worse by the fact that you're calling looking for help.
Yep.
And
And you can't get mad at the person because they're trying to make a living.
Yep.
It's the company that's
Exactly.
at fault. The company that has outsourced something to something
to
that
somebody that's-
can't do the job properly.
And I
Yeah.
found that if you do it respectfully, don't, like you said, you can't get mad at the person themselves. But you can, if you push hard enough, you can actually say, okay, may I speak with your supervisor, or may I speak with someone else? I'm just having some trouble understanding you. More often than not, I see more and more companies, they will actually transfer you to a boss who you can tell actually does speak English. They're probably from America. They're just living in wherever the hell I just called.
It's
But
important.
but it's so difficult because
It's important to learn the language. First of all, for integration purposes, you'll never be fully integrated if you don't learn to speak the language. You'll never be promoted. You'll never get the job that you want.
Exactly.
You will not achieve your goals if you don't learn the
you'll never
language
even just be
and get
seen as an
absorbed.
equal in society.
Yeah, exactly.
And-
And I've seen the opposite. There's communities, as you know, around the United States. I've seen it in Chicago, where there's a large Bulgarian community.
Yep.
They have 2 Bulgarian newspapers, Bulgarian stores, restaurants, churches, lawyers, doctors.
Yep.
They live in micro Bulgaria there. They never exit. And they don't learn the language for 10 years. They sit there for 10 years. They live in a small Bulgaria. Once they're out, and sometimes they have to get out, they're dysfunctional. Same thing in Queens with Little Odessa. It's the same thing. It used to be in Chinatown in San Francisco. So it's very important. I feel like it's very important. If you're part of this country, you have to learn the language. By the way, there was a great Gallup poll that asked, and it was statistically viable, asked people, do they think that learning English is important? And 52% said yes, it is important, and the other 48% said, no, c'est un problema, compañero.
So, Kathleen,
Well, I'm all with Chris on the admiration and patience for people here who are trying to do a job and learning English despite the fact that it's not their first language. And I'm never going to get upset with them. When you call a company for help and you get sent to somebody who can't communicate with you effectively, again, not the person you should get mad at, but perhaps writing a letter to the company.
Totally agree.
And damn Ukrainian prostitutes, learn the language.
Yeah, those are a problem.
No,
Those are
prostitutes,
problems.
they don't need to be talking. It's good, man.
You said something
Dr.
that
Orlando,
that
yes,
I
you're
wanted
going
to agree with wholeheartedly. That's it. I think it's super
what were you doing
important.
with your hand then? No,
Are you talking about mine?
No, hers.
No, that's not my hand.
All right.
I was very
now.
glad that you made the comment about being in Thailand, because my position is that, like, I like what was coming down from this end of the table, just very much like Kathleen, because it is indicative of people that have traveled. Do you think that traveling, putting yourself in the situation where you are not the majority
Oh, well,
speaker?
see, I can
Very
help you
much
there. You
so.
see, this is Americans going to Thailand or going to wherever. We have been dealing with the French, let me tell you, for very nearly 2,000 years. And we have learnt over these years that the only way to talk to the French is when you want the French to do something, you ask them in a civilized, polite manner to not fire that arrow, for example. And they go ahead and fire it, which is very French and smelly, because they don't shave under their armpits.
Oh,
But
God.
anyway, what you need to do is you just speak a little bit louder. and
Somebody punch
the
him,
louder
please.
and louder and louder, and eventually you get to a level where they get the message and they go and do it because they understand what you're saying.
This
They're
is
just
what
being,
we have to do to talk to you.
Yes, they're just being difficult
That's what I
most
was
of the
talking to my
time.
uncle, who's also from Britain. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just being difficult most of the time. They
I
want to go and
totally
go
disagree.
and
I've been to Paris on a number of occasions, and I found the Parisians to be very polite, very wonderful
Yeah.
people.
What the fuck? Are you trying to be like
too.
a Parisian ambassador or
They're
something?
No,
rude.
I'm not.
No.
I'm just countering
mostly.
the
I'm
Brit
gonna
at the
agree
other
with
end of
Chris.
the
I've been
table.
to France numerous times. I've really never had any
I
problems.
mean, I
Just-
don't
never
speak
had a problem
French,
either.
but I found that parlez-vous anglais went a long, long way. Making an attempt to.
Lynn, have you been to France?
Oh yeah, we were in Paris together. He made a comment.
She was in Paris on
Well,
her
now
own
we're
for
gonna
like a
get
week
the
and a
truth.
half.
We went last time we were in Paris together. He said something. Oh, the cute Asian in Paris. If you ever break up with me, I'll move to Paris.
Chris, you chose poorly.
Bastard! Did you say that?
Funny story. We went to a
Don't
sushi
try and
restaurant in
society-
Paris, and they only spoke French
Uh-huh.
and Mandarin. And Lynn walks up and says, "Do you speak English?" And the proprietor responds in Mandarin, which was really nice.
I
You
found
know
that at
what's
the
interesting
KFC.
is
Yeah.
in the midsection here of the United States, it's not a big problem. But if you go, I lived 6 months in New York, and New York City is obviously a first stop in an immigration pattern. It's that first place where you set foot in the United States. This place, New York City, English is a second language. Really, it's overwhelming how many first-generation immigrants live in this city, and it feels like you're in a place where people just use as a stepping stone to move out. And everybody, every taxi, every little store, everywhere, people speak extremely broken English or just straight speak their own language.
There are parts of America in the Southwest that are just like that.
Yeah,
with-
LA, Spanish.
yeah, with Spanish. I mean,
But is this a case for? I'm sorry. Is this a case for a more rigorous approach to enforcing English, or is this an
We're a
acknowledgement?
nation of immigrants, though. I mean, that's part of.
No, I'm just asking because that was an observation, and I'm just trying to draw a conclusion.
I think
from
that
what you're
people
saying.
are just learning when they are there. You know,
Right.
they're learning. But I feel like everybody's trying to learn
Right.
pretty much.
There's
unless
an
you-
element of if you don't have to, you tend not to.
That's true.
Jane.
That is asinine to me. I just can't understand it. And I think it goes back to what Lewis said, especially with being empathetic to people, especially if you've traveled. Because I was in Spain for 12 days, and I speak very, very minimal Spanish. Even though I can understand it a bit more, I can't speak it. And sitting around my friend in Madrid and her friends, it started probably about 4 days I started wearing down because I could get what they were talking about, but I couldn't join in. I mean, there were a few there that could speak English, but it drove me crazy that I couldn't have a voice. I mean, that was insane.
You know, when I have an interesting story. When I came first to the States, I ended up, and I might have told this story already. I apologize if I have, but there was this girl, Desi, a Bulgarian.
Yep, done. I'm kidding.
scene.
Well,
She's
no,
lovely.
she ended up marrying an American doctor. He was at a conference in Sofia. He literally saw her on the street, and he was a young, handsome guy, and went to her and said, I want to marry you. They didn't know each other. She didn't know English. He didn't know Bulgarian. And they ended up getting married. And I met them. They lived in Cape Girardeau in Missouri, where he was a doctor. And I met them there, and it was the most mesmerizing thing. They were just married, watching them communicate at the dinner table, because all she knew was pop music English. And she would say something like, I will always love you. And he would say something like, nothing compares to you, and they were basically, they were basically speaking.
That would make me sick.
But that's all they knew.
It would be great though.
Yeah.
I mean,
You would be comfortably numb if you were there.
But that's only because I don't know them. If I knew them, it'd be different. But going back to, I think it was Orlando asked a question about what this might be an argument for. I mean, particularly like the sexualization of people want to kind of live with people that are more like them. I think in terms of language, what it probably points towards is that we need kind of just a universal language, a language that everybody learns,
like Esperanto.
like Esperanto.
No, we don't need no education.
That way everybody can have their their regional language they grow up with.
The language
and then,
of pop songs. Hey, it might work.
Yeah.
People
Actually,
know
English
that.
it kind of is becoming the
But I mean,
global
actual
language.
phrases.
Do you think that's going to continue? I mean, we are now literally faced with the possibility that our movies aren't being made for us anymore. They're being made for like Chinese markets.
That's true. However, the one thing that I think is going to continue that movement is commerce. Is just the global economy runs on English.
Yeah, but my question is, we've talked about this before on the panel, that like America cannot possibly maintain its first world dominance.
Oh no, and they shouldn't. I mean, that's one problem with this whole issue is basically one of the big problems is Americans are they're just arrogant and they feel like I don't need to learn a language. You should learn my language.
Right.
But having said that, if I can jump in just for a moment,
he's acting like
and
he's
that
host or
is
something.
that is before the First World War.
It's English.
And you're a historian, give me the dates, the 1914-18 war.
Moving on.
Yes. Before the First War.
Oh, you mean the Third Balkan War, which became World War I?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
we're talking about the 30 Years War, the 100 Years War.
After the assassination in Sarajevo.
Teach us, learn.
So, after that assassination in Sarajevo that time, but before that, French was the international language.
Yes.
It was the diplomatic language. Hence, you see CD on the back of diplomatic cards called diplomatique. And
It's not about the
they thought, the French would have thought, well, we have the French Foreign Legion. We're one of the biggest international countries. We have, outposts all over the world. That's why we hate the British. But the diplomatic language was not English. What was happening around 1900? America was starting to get its legs, and now all of a sudden you have the British Empire and America and the American Empire speaking English.
Yeah.
And so,
Again, through
whether
commerce and through once America took over the global economy, English became the dominating force within the communication realm of the global economy.
Okay,
and that's
so
interesting. If you go to France and you go to 200 miles into France, say up to Paris, and draw a line, and then what? You do the same thing in Belgium and Holland. They all speak English. The kids all speak perfectly good English.
Yep.
Why? Because they watch TV.
We are the world.
Kathleen.
We are the children.
except until the last year or so, I'd have agreed
Shut
with that.
up, Bulgarian.
Another one bites the dust.
But we have really gone very strongly downhill in leadership of the world lately. So if nothing changes, what's going to be the next world leading language? Is it going to be Chinese or Russian?
Could very well be German. Angela Merkel is recognized as the leader of the free world right now.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, not for long.
But she speaks perfect English, and people communicate with Germany in English.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
So,
And again, I just through the economy itself, I don't see that shift happening.
What shift? Which shift are you talking
The shift from losing English and somehow English being replaced as the language to dominate the global economy. Even if America loses its power, and because we're living in the downfall of the American empire right now.
yeah.
However, the global economy is so intertwined and so reliant upon country after country after country. I really don't see it changing.
You don't think the French said the same thing in 1890?
No, I really don't, because communication in 1890 versus today was vastly different.
I think popular culture is also a driving mechanism here, because we kind of dominate popular culture, world of music and movie. Also, English is as hard as it is for other nations to learn. It's much easier than I believed French or German to learn. So the French grammar is very tough. Spanish is easy. Yeah, the German is like, let's say, I want to say truck in German.
Yeah.
Truck! Or chair. you know, so it is
blasted
much,
Eric's
much
ears out
more
there.
symphonic and
Eine
much more melodic.
Klopperkliebe.
Eine kleine, Obersturmbannführer Gustav von
Ja, ist gut.
ja, Obersturmbannführer Herr Gustav von Jeremy Taylor im Liebespiele mit zwei Orangutanen.
Oh my god.
And they're hawk.
My friend from Germany always goes, "Why do you guys always make fun of us?" And I always go,
It's
"But
the poetic
it's just so easy to talk.
language.
I don't know what else to say."
An expression in Deutsch. Okay, so let's move on.
let's move
That's interesting, isn't it? Because what we've really come down to is you better learn English.
For now.
Yeah,
Right, and so if my son-in-law is listening to this,
We are
perhaps you might
champions.
pay attention. Okay, Black Friday, Cyber
Hold
Monday.
on, let's pause for just a second. Was this whole section just a way to get a dig at your son-in-law?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, very much so. All right.
Notice how Kath is no longer at the table.
Is that our one listener?
She has left. Yes. Well, the thing is that
Wink.
my lovely stepdaughter makes it easy for him because he gets angry and frustrated, as we've said. Right? Frustrated is a word. And he gets frustrated because he can't get out. Pass me the malt vinegar. You know, I want malt vinegar, not ordinary vinegar. He can say that in Spanish. Christine can say it in Spanish, right? So it's just easier for him to say it in Spanish. Where it's going to go wrong is in about, say, 7 years' time, when the kids are coming back from school, and he's got two daughters, and we all know what the girlies are like. They're going to get pissed off with Dad for some reason, right? And they're going to refuse to speak Spanish to him, all right? And that's when he's going to have to make a choice, which is
gonna be either beat them with a club or beat them with his
move
feet.
back to Spain or Peru or something.
Or just drink apple cider vinegar for the rest of his life.
Yeah, right, okay. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Which is best for you? Is it buying online at the mall, bricks and mortar, or maybe Costco, and which is not the same? And also, another question I have as part of this is, are we all criminals? Because if we buy online, more than often we don't pay tax. Dr. Orlando.
So, I am a fan of the Black Friday shopping. Not because I find particular deals, but because there is this spirit of exploration and camaraderie between the Black...
What?
Yeah,
Survival.
No. See, you guys are thinking about the pictures that you see of the people like invading Walmart
Yeah,
at
yeah.
6 a.m.
And people dying.
I'm talking about the people that are there at 4 and are talking to each other. Like, there's this mix of people that you don't get in quite
That's a good
literally
point, man. I see where
any
you're going.
other
Yeah.
circumstance. So for
Do you
the
actually
first-
go out at 4
You want to
a.m.?
wait in
so
line
for the
at 4
first
a.m.
10
in
years that I
sub-zero
lived
weather?
here in Lawrence, Evo's wife and I would get up Thursday mornings about 4 o'clock, and we would go
Get in line.
not necessarily for the savings, but to people watch. It was the best thing. And then, like, on top of it, you can get a deal here or there on if you get there in time, and you know people haven't killed each other.
I go for the homicide.
Yeah.
Go for the homicide, stay for the savings.
It's been easily 5 years since I've done that.
Yeah.
Because the online shopping has just gotten
It's taken over.
so much better. Like, you realize immediately that, like, any deal that you find on Black Friday, you can
Every
sit
day's
in
Black
your
Friday.
underwear, and
Bingo.
just surf the net
Yep.
and find that same deal online.
What was that Thursday called before Black Friday?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. That's right. Thank you.
You know, Black Friday is a
What's
really
Thanksgiving?
depressing name.
Is that part of our culture anymore?
Actually, the Black
No,
Fridays
anymore.
would be a good name for a band, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Not going to get Christmas
Friday,
decorations up
BF.
before Halloween these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's go across to Chris. What do you think, Chris?
I'm a mixture of both. I mean, there's some things that I can only pretty much find online. That I probably could find a place to get them here. I mean, I'm currently purchasing a complete set of the Tom Baker Doctor Who episodes, and I think about the only place I can find those online is through Amazon. But when I purchase golf paraphernalia, I pretty much go to golf stores around town.
So do you have a line of delineation predefined already that this is a in-person purchase versus this is an online purchase?
Sort of depends. I mean, sometimes I'll say...
That would be a no then. You don't have a line of demarcation.
Nope, I don't.
Okay.
If I can't find, generally speaking, I will try to find it somewhere in town first, and if I can't, then I go online.
That is the exact opposite of me. I always try online first, and if I can't find it online, then I go searching locally.
I just like supporting local businesses more than...
You're a better person than me. I mean, we know that.
I
don't know.
Jason, you have various investments and stuff like that, and I'm interested to know if someone buys, they want to come in and they want to look at something, touch it, feel it, thumb through it, but they can probably also buy it on eBay or maybe Craigslist, where they can't touch it and they can't open it and they can't feel it. And they can't see whether the back of it is good as the front, and all that sort of thing. What do you think?
I kind of echo what Chris said, because it depends upon what I'm buying. If I'm buying something where I don't need to actually look at it and really examine it myself, then I'll just go online and get it. But if it's something where, like if I'm going to buy a comic book for my collection, I will never buy, I don't buy anything online for that. I need to see it, I need to actually examine it myself. Or like, let's say, a piece of furniture. I'm not going to buy a piece of furniture online. I need to go and sit in it. I need to go look at it. I need to, visualize what it's going to look like in my house.
Yeah.
I need to see those things. But if it's something like a book, if I want to go online to Amazon and buy a book like Small Business for Dummies, I'll just go on Amazon and buy that. I don't need to go to the bookstore for that.
Where does the fleshlight fit in?
Well, it depends. I mean,
you gotta try
which accessories you want,
you gotta sample
Yeah,
it.
it depends on what I'm going to use it for.
What color you desire.
Gotcha.
So
Jane.
Yeah.
That was a good way to cut that conversation off.
No segue.
No.
Because you were going to go to vibrators, and then it all goes downhill from there.
Yeah.
The only thing I've ever bought online
La-di-da.
are books.
What? Sorry?
Yeah, I know. Evil's like, books. I pretty
source?
much Amazon.
Just Amazon.
Yeah.
Do you ever try any of the used sites like Pearson's or anything like that?
No, not really. No. I do books, and I have done a couple of movies online, but it's always through Amazon. I am just, me. I don't really care for technology, so I would rather do my shopping in person. So I do the local shopping. So I'll search online and see if certain bookstores have it. If they don't, then I order online. But as far as clothes and things like that, it pisses me off. I guess I take that back. I've done it once in about 5 years ago. I ordered some shoes or some shit and they didn't fit. And it makes me mad to get something and have to send it back to reorder. I'm like, no, I want it now. I don't want to have to send it back. So that's why I just go to the store for clothes.
I would agree with
Shoes or
that.
boots?
Just clothing
I don't
in
have
general.
boots.
Do not go to his boot fetish.
Boots?
Oh yeah, no, I don't do
Fire,
boots.
did they just, sorry.
I do the ugliest shoes possible because
Evo.
So,
it's off.
Were you buying boots online?
No. I was thinking really the only things, the big things that
Pull
people.
yourself together, man.
The big things that people buy nowadays.
You know what I'll do.
On Black Friday, really the big sales are of electronics, toys, Xboxes, stuff. These are the doorbusters. Doorbuster, great porn name, by the way.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure that I would be interested in watching Mr. Doorbuster.
Is it Backdoor Buster?
Backdoor Buster.
Backdoor Busters.
So the doorbusters. Anyway, the doorbusters are electronic. So why won't you buy?
Why don't
a
you
flat
just get to the
screen?
point and just call it the Hyman Buster? I
Yeah.
mean, my God.
Yeah. It's too obvious.
See, too far.
I went too far.
So
And also
see,
having
I
a go
see.
at Jewish people, it's not right.
flat screen TVs you can buy online.
Right,
Right?
stuff like that, I'll buy online.
Xboxes.
That stuff I'll buy
remember-
online, no problem with that.
Yeah, one time I was in St. Louis on Black Friday. I think we were together. I went to buy We was the big thing that year, and my son was like 5 or 6, and he wanted one real bad, and they were not manufacturing enough of those.
But
So
don't buy weed online though.
no weed online. Wii. Yeah.
No, I'm
As
so-
in wee.
Just advice.
Nintendo Wii.
Not
You can buy the magazine on.
Oh,
There you go.
So I went and waited at a Best Buy for like a couple hours in the morning before they opened, and the crowd was getting. I could feel the anger building up. I could feel the tension building up, and there was this like a really overweight kind of like I think he had a maybe half Filipino, half American guy, really overweight, out of shape, and as soon as the doors opened, everybody went for the Wii because it was obvious that it was going to be a big sale, and everybody turned animalistic. I mean, and that guy looked like a normal, calm, collected guy, looked like an accountant, and he was literally turning to Jackie Chan. I mean, the guy was doing cartwheels towards the pile of Wii, and was like literally like pushing people, making like really martial arts moves, kung fu moves, elbows used professionally.
Can I break down your story? First of all,
That's
I'm
what capitalism will do to us.
That,
And you weren't that bad, were you?
No, that your vision of a calm, cool, collected guy is an accountant. That's the first thing.
Well, I mean, the nature of the accounting job requires to be cool and collected, and usually they're not in incredible shape because they sit behind a desk, and that's what kind of the analogy that I had with this guy. But the point is, everybody turned predatory suddenly. Just the very primal instincts kicked in, and everybody was for themselves. Everybody sharpened their elbows, and they didn't care about anybody else. And
Yeah,
so it was.
I'm kinda with you.
That was
I
the
mean,
last time I went.
I'm
on
not
Black
that
Friday.
fond of people at the best of times, but when they're
Competition for scarce resources.
that would be just horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
State of nature, people.
Yeah.
But I'm
No,
kind of
I
like
do not buy into
I'm
Hobbes.
thinking of the Wii.
I'm kind of liking Lou's idea because now I just want to go just to watch,
I promise you, if
just
you
to watch the
go
stampeding shitstorm.
and not
There's enough
if you're
videos to
not
watch.
interested in whatever the doorbuster that Evo's talking about is, and just go and experience the people, there's almost something magical until about 5 minutes before the door opens. At about 5 minutes
You
before the
can
door
feel
opens,
the
it's
build-up.
exactly what you say.
then they're frothing at the mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even a frothing. It is like,
nothing
you know the
desirable.
scene
Tension.
in Rambo when he's getting prepared for battle?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. It is very much like, okay, we're going to put the bandana.
Or in the Lion King, when the father lion gets trampled.
Or when at Troy, when Achilles is getting ready to fight Hector.
Yes.
Who the
Or in Shaving Ryan's Privates when. Never mind.
When ABBA are about to come on
It's
stage.
no more just the good old boys.
Just one thing to get back to
'Cause
the
they
original
mean some
question:
harm now.
bricks and mortar or online? I have occasionally bought online, but I don't like packages waiting outside your house. I mean, bad in all sorts of ways.
Unless they're really good looking.
Don't start that whole thing with the cam, right?
No,
You heard
well,
about
I was going to
this?
say, do you know that Amazon is starting a service where they have a key to your house so they can put
Oh, yeah.
the
It's an
packages
online
inside?
Oh, sure, that
electronic
sounds
key.
like a really good idea.
It's already been hacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lynn, you are a proper foreigner, and proudly so, I imagine. As am I, as Evo. What do you think about all this? I mean, when you were little girl, did you just go to the store? What happened? How did you do shopping, or do you have big malls? What
No,
what
I
you
don't
have?
do. No, I don't find that really. I don't do a lot anymore.
I mean, I know you have staff who go out and buy things for you, but I mean, just when you were little, before you had.
No, Jeremy, that's you.
I wish I had
Sorry,
staff.
I just assumed every. Oh, you know. All right. Well, all right. But I mean, what did you do growing up shopping, and how does it compare to here?
No, I really did not do a lot because my mother is there, so I can't really do a lot of things.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Can we have your mother next time?
Well, yeah, that's well, we'll see. It's very heavily regulated.
Right.
Is anybody here that's I want to be totally unbiased, but that scum of the earth, those horrible people who go to brick and mortar stores and take advantage of them paying rent and so on to get advice and help and check out everything there and look at all the books and thumb through them or open the refrigerators and decide what they want and then go home and order it online?
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
like doing that.
Yes.
Dr. Orlando does.
Okay, I used to like you.
Yeah, no,
But because either way, odds are, like if I go to Best Buy to go do something like that, go check out a refrigerator, and then I leave the store, I'll just go buy the refrigerator online at the Best Buy website. I mean, the company still gets my money. I'm just
Lots of people go to Best Buy to check stuff out and then buy it elsewhere.
that's true. That is true.
It's rotten. It's rotten.
all right. Well, I think
That is capitalism.
I want to warn
Yeah,
you that
free market.
Yep.
Looking forward now to coming up podcasts. I'm British, as you know, and I'm thinking
Holy
very
shit!
Really?
You're
What?
reminded
What?
of that
Yes,
how many times
yes.
in this?
I thought that was an Australian accent.
I thought you were French.
Hello, darling. I'm seriously looking for an opinion.
That's right, I went there.
Bloody time. Lovely. I'm looking for an opinion. Having lived in the USA for over 14 years, I'm thinking seriously about citizenship. And I'm going to be asking the panel next time round, why does the panel think I should go for it? Why should I go for
So,
citizenship?
preliminary question: will the country let you in?
Yes.
Okay.
And then another
strike
one,
one right
which
there.
I think is becoming particularly important. We're recording this on the day that two very famous TV personalities have been called into question regarding sexual harassment. It's too soon, perhaps, but be advised that I will want to talk about sexual harassment of women by men, men by men, and particularly men by women, having been present at or experienced all three scenarios myself. We'll
Missing
cover
out
this
the girl on
subject.
girl action.
This subject in a future podcast. The debate will be the team's advice on how to deal with it. But it's important that we have the ladies, women, people of the female persuasion. What am I supposed to call them? You know, who are here to contribute to get their take on it. You've been listening to Wednesday Night Undressed. Hope that's given you something to think about. Want to thank our sponsors. Ivo, you like to do that?
Yeah, the sponsors tonight. The sponsor is Pontiac Fiero.
Right.
One,
Oh yeah.
they provided transportation, and miraculously, we all survived. This is the only one-stroke engine. Why is it a one-stroke engine? Because you receive only one massive stroke when you reach over 40 miles an hour and the car combusts spontaneously on the highway. Thank you to Pontiac Fiero.
We want to thank our producers and engineers. We want to point out that in engineering, everybody knows what the TARDIS is. Doctor Who is a woman.
Yes.
Get over it.
Indeed.
Engineer Neil Rasmussen, of course. Eric, the producer. Yay! It's enthusiastic, that clapping there, wasn't it, Eric?